Back to school time is busy for families and can be stressful for students of all ages. Dr. Linda Grossman from the County Health Department is here with some very relevant suggestions on staying healthy and being successful in school. Thank you so much for joining us.
Pleased to be here.
Well, as we're at the beginning of the school year, what advice do you have to parents to help them get, themselves and their students off to a good start?
Well, one way to think about it is to getting off on the right foot or the right start kind of thing. So the first thing is getting back to the routines. All of us have different routines over the summer, and it's a good idea before school starts or certainly early on to get those regular routines in place. That makes a big difference.
Right, and so as a medical doctor, you have a little bit of experience as a student. Tell us some of the routines that are helpful and kind of get the kids in the groove.
Well, using my medical doctor piece especially, it's helpful if kids get sufficient sleep. And that means a bedtime that's substantially earlier probably than they had over the summer, because they're not going to be able to sleep till noon anymore, kind of thing. So getting to bed at a decent bedtime, in the right frame of mind to be able to get to sleep easily, kind of thing. Eating in a healthy manner with regular meals and appropriate kind of things is a good idea. But also getting routines about how you get your stuff put together and so you've got the things you need and got them lined up ready to go in the morning.
Okay, what about homework?
Well, homework is always, it's a good idea for kids to do homework. Both it's the reinforcing of what they learn, but also that it helps if they have routines about where they do their homework. Where they do it is probably needs some negotiation. Some kids need to do it, at the kitchen table where mom or dad can help them out with it. Other kids do better to go and have a quiet place separately to do it. It is not a good idea to do it in front of TV because you can't watch TV and do your homework at the same time.
Multitasking, they say, makes you not smart.
Right, kind of thing. So, But thinking about having a setup and a routine about where to do it and when to do it is a good idea.
How about music? Good, bad?
Depends on the kid. I know some kids who use music to shut out other noises, and that may be very helpful kind of thing. So that if, on the other hand, the music is distracting them in terms of choosing what song they're going to listen to next, maybe not so good. So.
All right. And how about doing some things in the evening so that the morning is a little smoother?
Well, I think it helps to have a place where at the end of the day to collect what you need for the next day and line it up in a place that's ready to go. And whether that's a bin by the front door or whether that's a special spot on the kitchen table where you can pick up stuff and go. It also helps sometimes there are some things that kids need to take on some days and not on other days. So it's helpful if you have a little list so you can check it. Oh, it's a Monday, therefore I need my clarinet kind of thing.
Yeah, just to sort of default mode so you don't have to think about it every single day. And it sounds a little funny as an adult, but a few years back, somebody actually suggested to me, if you get your clothes together the night before, that's one less little stressor in the morning, and it helps.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, so in your listing here, the next one is immunizations.
Correct. Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Well, immunizations are very important. All Maryland schools, both public and private, are required by state law to have their students receive immunizations. And students who don't have the required immunizations will not be able to attend school.
And that's to protect all the students.
Right. It's both to protect the student himself, but also his classmates.
Okay. And then we get to the G, which is getting organized. What do you have to suggest?
Well, I think it's helpful for kids to think about how they want to do things. So some of this is what we talked about with the homework, of having a regular place to work with the materials there that you need, the pencils and the pens and the paper and things like that. Part of it is having a schema, so figuring out, are you going to have a single notebook? Are you going to have a different notebook for each subject? How are you going to do that? And to have the materials ready so you can do that makes a difference in how things go. And you should have a place that you're going to put the papers when you're in school that you need to bring home, and then a place to put the papers that need to go back to school so they actually get back there.
Yeah, that's important. And children nowadays have schedules and calendars, which is a little different than when I was a kid.
Right.
Any thoughts on setting up the calendar?
Well, I think especially in the style of today's education, there isn't just the assignment that's due tomorrow. There are lots more long-term projects and things like that. So it helps if they have a calendar, although I think lots of us use a calendar on an electronic device.
Sure, the family calendar apps and
I
all
think
that.
it's useful for kids to actually have a physical calendar that they can look at the global scheme of it and say, oh yeah, I'm here, and that book report is due. Oh yeah, it's due right there. I better get to work on that kind of thing.
So the book report's due next Friday, so maybe you put a couple markers in for the times to work on it, so that it's not just Thursday night.
Sure, yep, because it doesn't go, both in terms of that and also in terms of getting organized. If you're going to need special supplies, parents don't do well with 5 p.m. the day before it's due. Oh, but I need poster board and
the classic,
things like that. Yeah.
All right, the H is hit the books, or in this case, a lot of times it might be hit the computers. But tell us about that.
Yeah. So it's really important to make a good first impression, and so getting the work done early lets the teacher know that you're a kid who's really committed to this, and then if the teacher gets a good first impression, you can slack off a little later and they'll go, oh, but I know he's capable of doing this. I know he's a good, conscientious student. So they'll give you the benefit of the doubt. And it helps not to get too far behind. So if you get on top of the work early, then you're not going to get that panicky of, but I didn't do this and this and this, so how can I understand this piece too?
Yeah, because that way, if you realize you have some questions, you have time to go back to the teacher and figure that out. All right, the T is a very nice one. Try your best.
Right. And again, this fits with good first impressions. That if people feel like you're really trying, they're willing to give you the extra help and the benefit of the doubt. Kind of thing. So a good positive attitude makes a huge difference in how well things go. And you're going to feel better about it. If you know that you really slacked off, you're not going to feel really good about how you're doing. But if you're trying your best, people are willing to work with you and have things go well.
All right, and people can go on the county website to get some more information from the health perspective as well.
Sure.
So we'll put that information up. In the little bit we have left, what about stress for children?
Well, I think that there's lots of good data that today's students are much more stressed than kids have been in the past.
Yeah.
There are lots of pressures on them in terms of the workload is substantially increased and the expectations are up there.
So what can they do?
So I think it's helpful if they have some time every day to de-stress, some time to do some fun stuff. Physical activity is nice, or to read a fun book or something like that.
Very nice. Well, thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us today.
Delighted to do so.
And thank you for watching Hello Baltimore County. We encourage you to connect with Baltimore County government on all of our social media platforms.